New polls this morning giving us a better picture of how Americans view President Obama leading up to this election year. The CBS News poll shows 54% of Americans think President Obama should not be reelected. 54% also say the president does not share the public's priorities. 75% say the country's headed in the wrong direction. R.T. Ryabk is the mayor of Minneapolis and the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee. And Ron Christie is a GOP strategist and former special assistant to President George W. Bush. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Alex.
All right, Mayor Ryabk, up for you first here. As you were an early supporter of candidate Obama back in 2008, and you'll certainly be campaigning for him again this time around, how much do these numbers concern you?
Well, when I was campaigning for the president 4 years ago, they looked a whole lot worse than this. The numbers are tough, but these are tough times, and a president who's tried to keep this country together and all of that will not be on the top of every single poll every single week. But, you know, my Vikings got beat by another Tim Tebow last-minute surge last Sunday, and I wish you could, at that point, count the game over before it's over. The reality is we're in the middle of this contest. The president's been leading this country, and now we're going out to campaign, and we're going to do a good job of telling the American people that if we really want this economy moving forward, the Republican Party, especially those in Congress, have to stop blocking things that are going to make this economy better. We need more protection, so go ahead.
So, but with Ron, I want to bring you in here because even as you look at these numbers, Ron, there is no GOP candidate emerging who appears able to beat President Obama in 2012. The president is beating front runners in some key states. So at this point, do you wish you had another candidate from which to choose?
No. Good morning, Alex. I think whoever the Republicans put up will be in a very good position to beat President Obama. President Obama's approval ratings right now, as you point out, are those who believe he should be reelected. They don't think he's getting the job done. 54% don't believe he deserves to have another shot at this office. The president came in, he had a campaign of hope and change. He said he was going to turn things around. And also, interestingly, Alex, he said that if he couldn't close the deal in 3 years, he thought he was going to be a one-term president. So he has no record to run on. He has no signature accomplishment to say, if it wasn't for me, things wouldn't be this bad. Now all he has to do is go out there and try to bash his opponents. So I think he's in a very weak position coming into a re-election right now.
Mayor Ryabk, the president, President Obama, is really striking the theme this week that he's there to help the middle class. He spoke in Kansas Tuesday, the same place where President Teddy Roosevelt gave his new nationalism speech in 1910. Let's take a listen to part of what the president said. Here it is.
I believe that this country succeeds when everyone gets a fair shot, when everyone does their fair share, when everyone plays by the same rules. These aren't Democratic values or Republican values. These aren't 1% values or 99% values. They're American values, and we have to reclaim them.
Now, despite the resounding applause there in the heartland of America, 54% of the public, Mr. Mayor, in this new poll says that President Obama does not share their priorities. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think what we're going to be doing is talking to the American people about what the president has accomplished. And by the way, when I heard the point that he has no accomplishments, 21 straight months of economic growth is pretty good.
Okay, and you're making these points, and you're talking about what you're going to be talking about. But why is it people aren't getting it yet?
We have a year before the election, almost a year before the election. We're going out and talking to people about it, but there's no question about the fact that the president has been being president, and our job now is to make the case over these next few months. We'll be doing that, and the American people are moving in the right direction, but it's going to take a while, and this is not a surprise. The reality is we have a record, and more important, we have a choice. And the choice we have is between a president who has led those 21 straight months of economic growth, who's now got unemployment moving down, against a Congress and a Republican Party and whoever the heck they wind up putting up, who basically have tried to block every single thing that the president has tried to do. Now, right now in Washington, we have a choice. The economy collapsed because regulation was removed and people weren't watching Wall Street. So we have a Consumer Protection Agency. We have a great person who's been supported by Republicans and Democrats, ready to go to be that watchdog that the American people need. And the Republicans are blocking it again. Okay. And we're going to be continuing to make that case. So we have people going into the holiday season.
Yeah, okay, now Ron, okay, Ron, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I do. Well, you know, with all due respect to the mayor, you're absolutely right. The president does have a record. There have been 1.9 million jobs that have been lost in the private sector since he took over. The president promised if his stimulus bill had passed that, of course, we wouldn't have unemployment above 8%, and now it's at 8.6%, and it was just recently at 9.1%. The president promised with his health care bill that it would lower the cost curve, that we'd put more people on, and that we'd actually reduce the size of the deficit. All the things that the president has told the American people, Mr. Mayor, have been proven not to be true, and I think that's why 54% of the American people don't believe that the president shares their values, and 54% of the American people don't believe he deserves to be reelected, because what he has said, Mr. Mayor, and what has actually happened are two different things. And people think, I'm hurting, my family's hurting, I need a job, my folks need a job, and the president's leadership hasn't delivered. I think that's the true distinction heading into the next November election of, has this president made this country better under his stewardship in 3 years? And I think the answer to that, unfortunately, is no, he hasn't.
Mayor Ryabk, you want to comment?
I'd love to. 3 years ago, this country was hemorrhaging 700,000 jobs a month under George Bush. We were in an intractable war in Iraq that was sucking this economy dry, and we had Wall Street running roughshod over the American people. The president has made tremendous progress on those, and you bet I'll talk about health care, and I'll look at those millions of people who have health care today. People like my niece who have tough diseases and are going to be able to stay on their health care regardless of their pre-existing conditions. That is a record, sir. And what's important to say is that this president has done all of that without a single ounce of help from the Republican Party. Now it's time to hold people accountable, and I can't wait to go into this election and to have the Republican Party take their record of doing nothing out. Say that again?
I said, I don't doubt that. I think you're itching to go and get into this election, as you evidence here, both of you. R.T. Ryabk,
I think that's one thing we'll both agree on.
What, about getting into the election? Okay, we're all good with that.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, I got to cruise along because Nick's having a count in my ear. All right, thank you so much.
Take care.
We've been asking all of you this morning, which of the two current GOP frontrunners do you think may pose a bigger challenge